Good evening. Welcome to NightCap. May the Lord Almighty grant us a quiet night and a perfect rest. Tonight I have chosen Joseph to present as my hero. Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob, whose name God later changed to Israel, and the first son born to his favourite wife, Rachel. They had one more son together named Benjamin, and Rachel died in giving birth to him. These sons would form the basis of the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph himself did not give his name to a tribe, but instead his sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, became half-tribe. Jacob's parental favoritism was blatant. He doted over Joseph. Perhaps this was because Joseph was his first son by his favourite wife, Rachel. Jacob had a richly ornamented robe made for Joseph, and this dazzling robe given to him marked him as superior to his brothers, as such robes were a sign of social or political status. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Joseph had a dream, and he told his brothers, "We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered round mine and bowed down to it." His brothers said, "Do you intend to reign over us?" So they hated him even more because of his dream and what he'd said. Then he had another dream. This time the sun and moon, representing his parents, and 11 stars, which represented his brothers, were bowing down to Joseph. When Joseph told his father about the dream, Jacob rebuked him, saying, "What is this dream you had? Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" Jacob censured Joseph for his impertinence, and his brothers were jealous of him. Nevertheless, God had a plan and a destiny in mind for Joseph, and his dreams would come true in due time. He would indeed be a prince and rule over them. Sometime later, Jacob sent Joseph in search of his brothers and the flocks. But when he found them, they conspired to kill him. Reuben stepped in and tried to rescue him from their hands, saying, "Let's not take his life. Don't shed any blood." So they threw him down a water cistern. When a caravan of Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 shekels of silver. The Midianites sold Joseph as a slave to the Egyptians. Meanwhile, his brothers deceived Jacob by putting goat's blood on Joseph's colourful robe and telling Jacob that wild animals must have killed him and eaten him. But God still had a plan for Joseph. Can you imagine how Joseph must have felt? Yet, through these trials, he remained faithful and obedient to God. God spoke to Joseph through his dreams, and he would have to wait many years before being reconciled with his family. How did he manage to stay faithful and obedient to his God? I wonder if any of us would be able to do that.